Um, can you stop the recording? Thank you.
Joy in my morning, more peace in my nights, more ease in the hours between. I choose to have more love, love that surrounds me, love that lifts me, love.
Welcome. We are back on our Wednesday 6:30 meeting for the Harmonic Crowns of the Multiverse. And we have some beautiful guests in the house. I am so excited tonight to be in your presence. Thank you for your energy. And we can share this experience as a journey we will never forget. My first guest is my girl, all the way from the beautiful mystical India. And she can sing. Her modalities are just top tier. So if you follow her on her YouTube page, you'll enjoy it. A lot of her segments as well as on Facebook. Now I'm going to introduce the two beautiful gentlemen sitting under me. We have Diaz, and he is an awesome shamanistic individual who is covered in mystic shamanism and has so many modalities. I guess you could just like say infinite possibilities. So we're going to leave it at that and let him come forth. And then we're going to have Master Paul, which is a very gentle teacher. So, well, you just get mesmerized by the calmness of his knowledge and the way he puts things together. Well, let's still begin into listening to a little bit more of my theme song. I choose to have more.
I choose to have more joy in my mornings, more peace in my nights, more ease in the hours between.
I choose to have more love, love that surrounds me, love that lifts me, love that flows endlessly through me.
I choose to have more abundance, abundance in my body, abundance in my home, abundance in every corner of my life.
I choose to have more freedom, freedom to move, freedom to dream, freedom to create the life I desire.
I choose to have more beauty, beauty in what I see, beauty in what I feel, beauty in every simple moment. I choose to have more laughter, laughter that fills the air, that heals my heart, laughter that echoes into tomorrow.
Choose to have more miracles, miracles that meet me daily, miracles that surprise me gently, miracles that remind me I am guided. I choose to have more
than enough,
more than I once imagined,
more than I dared to dream.
And as I choose more,
all right, we enjoyed our music and we did our thing, and now we're gonna get into just a couple of verses of this song that I believe connects us all together in the multiverse. And this song is I Believe I Can Fly. My voice does not want to come through. But give me a minute. Now I'm good. All right. I used to think that I could not go on. and life was nothing but an awful song. But now I know the meaning of true love. I'm leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, oh, if I can see it, then I can be it. Then I can achieve it. Then I can do it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. And every little night and day, I spread my wings and I fly away. I believe I can soar. I'm going through the multi-open doors. Believe. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. See, I was on the verge of breaking down. Sometimes silence can seem so incredibly loud. And there are miracles in life I must achieve. But first, I know it starts inside, deep inside of me. Oh, oh, if I can believe it, then I can see it, then I can achieve it, and then I can do it because I believe we can fly. I believe we can touch the sky, and every single night and day we spread our wings and fly away. I believe we can soar, and we're going through multiple doors. I believe we can fly. 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 Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you. Now we're going to introduce Al Diaz. Thank you. Ala.
So immense gratitude for the introduction, immense gratitude for the music. I could have listened to that music all session long, so that would have been awesome. And thank you for your singing. I didn't know you were a singer, so thank you for sharing that. I greatly appreciate it. Infinite possibilities. So I'm going to tell you a short story. Well, I don't know if it's short, but I'll try to keep it short.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, cool. 20 plus years ago, I went through an awakening process. And in that awakening process, two things came into my life, and it became two of my pillars that I use, for with clients and audiences around the world, and that's self-love and life purpose. And those two pillars, those two scenarios promoted me or provoked me or pushed me forward to become an international keynote speaker, an author of 3 books, and a film producer. And I was on top of the world in 2023. 20 plus years later. I was living in a penthouse right on the water on the beach here in Maui.
Yeah.
And I was on top of the world. I thought, I have everything. Everything's great. Everything's good. And one day I stepped out of the pool, and whenever I went to my penthouse, I went wet because I figured by the time I get to the 4th floor to my penthouse, I would dry off. Well, I got in the elevator and I went up the elevator, and as soon as I stepped out, I slipped and fell and hit my head on the cement. I had a low grade headache for about 6 weeks, and 6 weeks later, I was taken to the ER with traumatic brain injury, blood on both sides of my head.
Yes.
The girl, the female that I was with at the time, we were having a short fling, and that I 30 days, and actually, I got out. I went into the ICU after the surgery, and I was supposed to be there for 7 days, and I got out in 2.5 days. Then they put me to rehab, and I was supposed to be there for 30 days, and I got out in 3.5 days.
Yes,
So
I remember this.
in 6 days, I was out. And then they told me I was going to go through a 2-year recovery period. Yet in 7 weeks, I was flying to San Francisco to go see my granddaughter. The reason I'm telling you all this, when I got out of rehab that night, um, I rented an Airbnb right on the water for the girl and myself so we could spend some time together. And that night, she left me. She dumped me. She just walked out on me.
Mhm.
The doctors would not have released me if they did not know that I wasn't going to be taken care of. Here's the thing that I'm going to bring up. I had healers from everywhere working on me. That's how I healed real quickly in the first 7 weeks. But 2 or 3 healers started working with me precisely. And make a long story short, and this goes back to your subject matter, I didn't know that I was living under the cover of a trauma that happened to me uh, during my birth. I was born 7 weeks early, and it we traced the trauma back because I couldn't understand why she left me, but with the trauma, with the original trauma was abandonment. So since that moment that I was born, all the way up to the moment that she left me, life kept repeating itself to me. You're being abandoned, or you're feeling you're being abandoned. And so I lived that way for 66 years, under whether it was relationships, whether it was financial, whether it was friendships, whether it was occupation. Something always left me, and it's because that seed that was originally of abandonment, the trauma, was not healed. And when I recognized that, and I forgave that experience. I forgave my mom and my dad. I let it all go. And almost immediately, I started receiving blessings, blessings beyond my wildest dreams. And so when we go back to infinite possibilities, I think most of humanity, I would say 80 to 90% of humanity does not know they're living under trauma, some form of trauma, whether it's during the early years when they were birth, like I was, or teenage years. They're all living under trauma, and they think this is how normal life is. This is how it's supposed to be. These are the cards that I was dealt with. This is how life is. But in
Come on
reality,
now.
it's because we're living under trauma and we don't even know it. Most people do
Hmm.
not know they live under. I didn't know it. I was very successful, and yet, but then when I reflected back, I said trauma. It kept repeating. The patterns kept repeating itself in a different form, and it kept repeating and repeating. It was like life was telling me, "Wake up, wake
Right.
up! You got this seed that's been running through your energy field for over and over. You got to get rid of it." And like I just said a moment ago, and go back to your subject matter, infinite possibilities. When people realize that most people are living under some sort of trauma, and they release it, that's when infinite possibilities come into your life. And that's what happened to me.
Absolutely. 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 That was so beautiful. And, I knew him before this happened. Like when I was living back in San Diego because, well, I'm sorry. Anyway, I met him and he's been knowing me for a while. And then I was like, well, I need you to work on me. And I'm at the beach and I'm in my swimming suit. So I get in the car. And I set up this. I mean, and let me tell you something. He's super powerful. Like I couldn't drive for like an hour or so. Just sitting there wet in my swimsuit. But I had a cover. I got covered and everything. And we're just FaceTime and I was like, oh my god, I don't get high. I don't do drugs, but I felt like I was like high. And everything he told me, I start doing what he started telling me to do because I already know a lot. I'm not the know it all, but I know a lot. And just the simplicity in how he put it and what he told me to do was just like, it dropped layers of grandeur off my just, and I'm like, get up, Pamela, you can do this, look in your eye. And, I was like, okay, we went back and forth for a long time before we started talking, though, because I think he really thought I was serious, but that's okay. It's all good. But yes, I knew him through that trauma, and I did the support as much as I could because I'm such a big empath that I felt everything he was going through, but I was ashamed to say it because I felt like if I say that, he might feel like I'm putting him down spiritually. But I'm come to find that we all have our own spiritual journey roads, and we all connect and help each other out. That's how it happens. I met Michelle Peacock through him too, and went through a couple of sessions with her light language. So all these different modalities have brought me to where I am right now, and that's why I want to share this with the world. This is a dynamite. Awesome. Yeah, Al Diaz, dynamite. Like dynamite. Don't put it under your car if you're not ready for it. Thank you, Al. Master in the house. Let's go. Bring it to us. Your infinite possibilities.
Thanks for sharing that, Al. That was pretty profound, actually. It's a lot of times we do get stuck in the routine of the same things, and I was thinking, about your subject matter, infinite possibilities. I was listening to Al, and I was like, well, where do I go with this? And so I'll share with you my current understanding of infinite possibilities in relationship to us as individuals, as a soul. And it's deep and it's wide, so I'll try to narrow it as much as possible. So infinite possibilities, yes, in my understanding, is if you can think of it, then it is possible. And if you cannot think of it, then it would not be possible for you. Others, so it's possible if any individual can think of it. Then why is it possible? The answer to that is because as individuals, this is my current understanding, which is always malleable. It's possible because we literally are created as a fractal of source, as a piece of God. Literally, God is looking through our eyes, experiencing life, which is God. So it's God experiencing God on behalf of God. We're literally a piece of God experiencing all that God created on behalf of God. And in that, we have been told by all the different teachings that we have free will. No one quite knows what exactly that means. My current understanding of it is we are literally the creators of our experience. And there's a problem with that, in that when we come in, much like Al gave an example of, there's a series of experiences like trauma, okay? Or we might have experiences where we have an abusive parent, or we might have an experience where, who knows what, right? But we all have our version, our story. And we're taught a certain way to think. We're taught that's good, that's bad, that's right, that's wrong. And we have experiences, and we form judgments, we form protective mechanisms. We basically develop a personality for the first 40, 50 years. And then the next 30, 40, 50 years after that, we're unwinding that personality and trying to find out who and what we are in relationship to God.
There you go.
And so it's like this 40 years of learning how to survive, and the next 40 years is unwinding it. So in relationship to all possibilities, what I've come to understand is that we actually truly are creators of our reality.
Absolutely.
And the difficulty in creating what we want, whether it's financial success or health or anything, what separates us from the accomplishment of what we want is the lack of belief that we can accomplish that. And that is created because of all the upbringings and all the teachings and everything that basically has set the pattern by which we bring ourselves to life. And so if we can disseminate and dissolve everything we've ever been taught and literally choose from today forward, from this present moment forward. We can observe everything from this moment forward. We can choose to allow it into our present moment or not in terms of what our creation is, but we can also choose to deny it entirely, which has the beautiful side effect of allowing all possibilities to exist. Because if we allow everything from this moment backwards into our life, most of it is not something that's going to benefit us when it comes to our
Exactly.
preferred trajectory. Most of it is carries a negativity associated with it. And so if we
Yes.
can take today forward and choose all possibilities from the standpoint of I am a creator,
Right.
I have been brought into this environment to create on behalf of Source, to experience all possibilities. And even though I've been taught this, and that, been taught to judge this as good, bad, right, wrong, black, white, whatever, if I let all that go and just decide for myself what is my reality, decide for myself what I choose is right and wrong, from that moment, all possibilities are entirely available to us, and creation can happen a whole lot faster. We tend to um, destroy our own manifestations before they ever get started because we allow
Exactly.
everything from the past into the present moment. And so this is it's really hard to encapsulate the current levels of understandings that I'm trying to grasp in 5 minutes. But
Exactly.
that's as best as I
Take your
can try in a
time.
very short
You're
period of time.
explaining it correct, correct. Because uh, voicing my what I'm picking up that you're laying down is even when I'm driving and I'm all the way up in the hills. I live in Lake Berryessa, so I'm 3 hills up before you can even get to a town.
Mm.
And these roads are nothing but twisty winding. And right now, I'm driving through fog, and I know it's spiritual fog. And we're going around these curves. And before it happened, I've been up here 12 years, 13 years, but I always pray before I always go through. I pray every day. I go through and I command how winter is going to be.
Mm.
So, thing is that it's all fog all the way from my job. The sun's out, and it's all fog. And I'm being tested, but I'm not being tested because I've already created before the beginning of the day. I've created my going in and going out. I've already created a peaceful ride home. Everything's already been spoken. Or and as soon as I get up, I do Al's, I do yours, I do mine. Yeah, I put all these little rituals together. Own special. I drive with my own voice praying. And then sometimes on top of that, my guides are telling me, speak this, speak this, speak this. Then I don't know. Hey, sometimes that'll be Kwame driving on St. Germain driving out. Oh, yeah, they're driving there. Now you're in a caravan. They got you in a caravan. Just sit there and just chill in the caravan. And, and it's crazy. I've left my house way too late to get to work. Several days. And I've gotten to work and they say, calm down. Yeah,
Mm.
because I'm on the fifth dimension majority of the time. Now, before I used to be, calling y'all, hey, can I text you? And I'm going through it. I don't know what to do. My skin's falling off, or whatever. Exaggeration, but both of you know. And I'm serious because I'm very not proud, but I come from a very well-to-do family, which is very prominent, very powerful people, and they all died. And in doing that, touching me, because I have a very crazy upbringing and dying 7 legal times and having this plate and this plate and the plate in my knee and all the things that I've been through, sexual from 12 to 16 years old, raped as a virgin, blah, 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 all that. And then come to find out after all this, and you go and you become an elder in the church, and then strictly, oh, shamanism, wow, hit you in the face, wow, you already knew when you was 12. When you died the first time, you already knew. But trauma comes in and steals you away because you got to go through all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden, downloads are just coming to you. And you're like, remember you wrote this before. And then they show you different lives you were. In recent life, I didn't understand this when Richard Liam told me. You dealt with so much abuse. You dealt with so much abuse. It's hard for you to love yourself. So I did was a 30-day meditation, something like that. Was it, Terri? And Tiamat came to me. And you know anything about Tiamat, you understand. Yeah. She said, I'm you. This is the deep betrayal. This is the deep rejection. This is the deep self-loathing that you've had to deal with. This is why you're so emotionally broken. So I had some people from Shasta. I went up to Shasta, and then I had some people from Ecuador work on me a couple times, and I'm constantly working on myself. You know, sometimes I'll go deep dive, and sometimes I'll just go regular. It's like I don't have a day off, and then sometimes I'll take a day off. I will try not to feel guilty, so I don't feel guilty anymore because I need that day off. But each one of your names are in my prayers every day, and now I just want to give Terri some time to speak on. She's never met either one of you. What she feels about all this greatness that is being. This is great energy mingling together. This is called mixing the medicine. Yeah, this is called the shine and the morning key. When I got initiated into the morning key, they said, Pamela, I want you to mix the medicine. I can feel the chills on my body right now when I turn into a snake and all the things that this woman saw go through when I got initiated to the morning. But now it's just, I'm just me and all the reflections of me and all the reflections of me that are coming together, and we're putting this all together, and who knows where it's going to go. Who knows? Because it's infinite possibilities where it's going to go, and I want everybody to have a part in making themselves the best, better version of themselves. This don't cost nothing, but it will be out there for you to be able to go back to, get your little tidbits or make your little own scripts of your own stuff. It's your people and help people and do what you got to do because you're great people. And I know that because I'm great people. And you both taught me how to love myself more and help me be a great person. So I'm still learning. I still got a lot farther to go, but I want to give Terri some time to speak. Terri? You can't hear. Are you on mute? Turn your mic on. Speak. Okay.
Oh. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Is it coming through now?
It's coming through now.
Coming through now? Is it clear? Okay, so yeah, infinite possibilities. I could totally relate. Brother Al, when you were talking about the trauma, the abandonment stuff. And I just went through some layers of that. It's so funny because after I came out of it, I watched Hallmark, sorry. I was watching an episode of Hallmark, and that's exactly what they were talking about. I watched it yesterday. So, and when I had to pinpoint, where that was coming from, it was from the womb, 0 to 2. And I pinpointed that it came from not just my mother, but my mother and my father. And so I had to process that and actually saw, when I was being born, my father was not in the room, in the delivery room. I was told back in that day, the men were not really in there, but I saw him looking through a window outside, the door watching. And I thought, wow, he wasn't there, and then my mom was they put her on some kind of drug or something. And so she wasn't in her body, and when it was all said and done, she told the doctor she heard this woman screaming. Who was that? They said, it was you, so, and I had to work with that, that abandonment stuff. And then when I rewrote the story, a beautiful story about daddy being there and mommy being happy. And even on their wedding day, I was in her belly at their wedding. Okay. So I was always present with them. And a little scenario that brought a higher frequency to the story, a whole different story. And so when I was done with it, oh God, it felt so good. I felt like I had to call daddy, and a friend of mine, she said, oh, maybe if you call your dad and ask him questions, it might ruin the story. And I sat with that for a while. I said, no, my dad is still alive and I'm going to call my dad. And he said to me, Daddy was there. I was there with you. I was there with your mother, and I loved you. I loved your mother, And in that moment, I'm like, oh my God. And I told him how I had processed it. And he was like, wow, you did that. And from then on up to now, we talk to each other every week on the phone. We even got projects on the table that did not exist before because I rewrote that story. I let go of that emotional trauma and rewrote the story. And now it's like we're talking all the time on the phone. He said, whenever you have any question, I don't care what it is. He said, you call me and I will tell you, you can talk to me. And I was like, wow. I'm talking about infinite possibilities, because they divorced when I was 2 years old. And I remember the whole scenario being 2 years old and everything happening. I got pictures of the apartment we lived in. My mother couldn't believe it when I told her. I described the whole apartment. The toilet was broken, all these different things. She said, how could you know that? I said, I was there. I was 2, but I was there, And she whipped out the picture. I said, yeah, that's it right there. So, yeah, this is a journey. It's powerful, all the stuff that we allow to ourselves to let go of, sometimes quickly, and sometimes it might be gradually. But then I found that having the patience with myself and my own, and just being present with my own self through everything, it kind of moves a lot more smoothly rather than something jagged, shock. It just breathing deeply through all of it. Sit, and if it takes some hours, then it takes some hours. But
yes,
not to abandon my own self, no matter what.
Stuff ain't easy, is it, girl?
Not always, but with practice, some of the same subjects, layers become a little easier because I recognize them.
Right.
Or
before they even get in, I don't receive them. I don't receive you.
But recognizing it, embrace it, and transform it into gold. Rather than the other.
Yeah, that ether. Yeah. I love that. That was beautiful. Any one of you have anything else to say before we play our theme song, Out Us Out? Because I really enjoyed both of you, but you have the floor. And as long as you need, we have an hour.
So I would like to segue from what Paul said. So before my traumatic brain injury, I already knew I was a spark of the divine. I knew I was the essence of the creator. After my TBI and relieving the trauma or the seed of abandonment, I can honestly say I am God.
Yes, I believe that.
And once I was able to do that, I'm going to share something with all of you and your audience. There's a command that I use that brings in scenarios into my life almost effortlessly. And I'm going to share it with all of you. By the power vested in me, I am that I am. And then you put the adjective after that. So by the power vested in me, I am that I am. And then after that, you put the adjective, whatever you want to say in your, relationship, love, peace, joy, intimacy, whatever. Just put the adjective after that. Because once you, and I'm segueing from Paul, once you understand where you can honestly tell yourself, I am God. I am the creator. Not just the essence, not the child of God, not just spark of God, but actually say I am God, then you can blurt out that command because the universe, life,
the creator, the divinity, God, whatever your higher power is, when you say, by the power vested in me, so you're saying life, or the universe is saying by the power vested in me. And then if you are God, you're saying I am vested in me the power. So by the power vested in me, I am that I am. And then whatever adjective you want to put after that.
Okay.
Okay. So like I
Okay.
said, before my TBI, I blurted out to all my audiences. I say, I'm the essence of God. I'm the essence of spirit. I'm the essence of the divinity. I am the child of God. It wasn't until after the TBI when I could actually say, after I relieved the trauma of the abandonment stuff that's been running through my life, and I can actually say, I am God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I was going to ask each one of you to share some of your modalities, but I don't want to do that because, you're free to do whatever you want to. This is, a safe place. This is a soft place to land, not an abusive, spiritual place to make you feel in any way, unkind in any way. I don't even know. Sometimes there's no word for what I'm trying to say. As they say in the towel, I know nothing. I am nothing. I am everything. And I love that simplicity about the towel. Master Paul,
Yes, Pamela.
would you like to share something rich so I can write it down?
You know, I I want to talk about the what I perceive to be a relatively large shift in humanity at this time. And I
That's
think
great.
shows like yours are important because there's been a waking up for millennia. It's been my observation and my opinion that it's been significantly increased in just the last couple of years, significantly, to the point where people are saying things like, I am God. Um, that's sacrilege in many different circles of communication.
Mhm.
But the reason it is starting to be said and starting to be understood, it's starting to be um, at least considered, which is an important, is because the entirety of our suffering, all the belief systems, especially the Buddhist belief system, speaks of life as suffering, but it's only suffering because of our attachments, our identification as this vessel, as this personality. This is a skin suit. This is quite temporary.
Absolutely.
The part of me that is forever is the part of me that is, with God, one with God.
Mhm.
And that is what immortality is. That is what awakening is that realization, not the attachment and identification to the skin suit and all the suffering, the traumas, and every other story that goes with that. That's what keeps us in the suffering. It is when we realize and start truly realizing our authentic nature of what we truly are, is when we can be in the face of a traumatic experience, be in the face of something that would previously create great anger or great irritation or great whatever. Um, um, when we're in the middle of not only living paycheck to paycheck, but deciding, can I get that for my child? When we're in that and we can still be perfectly calm and okay with it because we know that everything is what we desire to. We can choose what we want in that moment instead of further extending a fear or a lack or any other form of a something that would definitely be a part of our environment up until that moment. So I say all this because I think that humanity as a whole is waking up to the realization that we are not the skin suit, we are not the body, the mind, we are not the name, we are not the role, the job, the achievement, and there will be zero satisfaction with any of that. We're starting to realize the things that were brought to us 10, 20 years ago, the power of now and all of that wisdom is starting to actually be grasped at this point where there is actually only now. There truly is only now. Everything else is simply snapshots in time. I explain to people, I'm like, look, every time You bring anything from the past into the now. It's like going down to your cellar, pulling out a box that was 4 layers down in the bottom drawer, pulling out a snapshot of that, bring it into your present moment and say, let's ruin my present moment with this past thing. And we do this again and again and again on a moment to moment basis. We fail to grasp that our experience is literally a co-creative in the moment now experience. And if we can wash away the perceptions, the beliefs, everything we've been taught basically, and just start creating for
Yes.
this moment forward, living in the now with joy, with happiness, with intention, um, we're going to be a lot happier. And I truly honestly see humanity is starting to wake up to that. It might be another 100 years before we're fully there, but
Right.
it's a big shift from where we were even a few years ago. So I just wanted to bring that to the table.
Okay. I don't think it'll be 100 years, maybe in
Before
linear
we're all on
time.
board, I think it'll be that
Yeah.
long before we're all wake up because there's a whole lot of sleep still happening.
I mean, time is moving so fast right now. We were just having Thanksgiving. What? I mean, I didn't have Thanksgiving. I don't celebrate holidays anymore. But and I really never did. I mean, I'm 62. I've never voted. I just don't believe in the system at all. I've never believed in the system. You know, I've had to be caught up in it through the people that I know or people that are my family. And even then, I still didn't go along with it and was questioned all the time and, called the black sheep and whatever. And, you know, people paid people to come and slap me or put me in positions that were just not good, because that's the kind of money they had to do that kind of thing to me because they felt like me being me was embarrassing them. So now, the universe says, oh, it's time for Pamela to, uh, this is the temporary avatar. She has to come into, uh, help this timeline to achieve uh, the solidity that it needs to in peace and calmness and balance and all the things she has had to go through. She's healed from majority of them through her own research and pain to want to be better instead of being on a pity pot and using all that to get what I want, which was nothing. All I ever wanted was me. And now that I have me, then none of this stuff seems very valuable. At any moment, I could just walk away because it's really just that serious. That, when you learn that you're everything you need and all you got to do is just walk out there and speak it into existence, there's really not much you want because everybody else is like in this illusion that all this other stuff is real important. And it's really not. To me, what's more important is how you're spending each moment in authenticity. And I've been dreaming this up for a long time, way before I met either one of you. And I said, I'm going to do this. And I have a couple other dreams that I'm trying to put together. And everybody's going to be, and I've dreamed this. And I dreamed my avatar as a bodhisattva. And I drew it when I was a little girl, but I didn't know. I really didn't know. The blue dot with all the hands. I didn't know. I drew it and didn't know who I was, and revert back to that and Athena and all the other things that I've quickly through using modalities and paying for services, and just now it's to the point where I've collected so many tools that I'd be stupid to continue not being disciplined in using them. And now that I'm using them, I want to help bring all of us together and make something really great. And I'm so grateful that both of you came and grace the kingdom, the door, which is no door, there's no door. So I'm loving it. It's time for us to let everyone go and have them a good dinner or whatever, because I haven't eaten in, I think, maybe more than 24 hours. So I must put something in the belly, even though I really could continue. It doesn't bother me anymore. Sometimes I don't crave food and I don't sleep I sleep enough, and then I get up and I meditate and I pray all night, and I'm feeling good. By the time I get ready to go, I'm rare. Of course, sometimes I get hijacked, very rare, but when I do, it's good reason, because it then shows me something that's unhealed that needs to be healed, and it brings up that sore. Okay, oh, and I ask the right questions. Okay, so what's making this happen? How, who in my life or in my past do I need to do forgiveness prayer on? Sometimes I'm just rolling down the hill 45 minutes of forgiveness prayers over fear, doubt, whatever comes up. It's just a word, and that word is energy. So I'm moving that energy, and then I cancel the contracts, then I nullify the contracts, and I bring back the proceeds, and then I take the scrolls that I've just done and I send them in the holy fire. And then I feel this freedom to be able to move through obstacles that most people think are obstacles, but actually they're just learning tools to let you know that, okay, we're going to the next level now. And I love that. That's the good part of being in the spiritual atmosphere. There's nobody trying to be, something they're not trying to be. And you can feel
Can
it.
I share something?
Sure. Awesome. Yay.
So years ago, when I started my journey, all the mentors that I was surrounded by were telling me that I had to heal stuff. I had to heal this, how to heal that, blah, blah, blah. And one day Spirit came to me and said, are you done healing yet? And in my mind, I'm going, no, I still got a bunch of stuff I got to take care of. I still got a lot of stuff I got to resolve and blah, blah, blah. And about 9 months later, Spirit asked me, are you done healing yet?
Wow.
And I said, well, wait a minute. I'm still dealing with this. I'm still dealing with that. I'm evolving. I'm moving forward. But there's stuff I still got to get taken care of. I don't know. Maybe 2 years after my awakening, Spirit came back to me and said, are you done healing yet? And I asked Spirit, I go, is this a trick question? I don't get it. What do you mean? Am I done healing yet? And I thought about it for a few days, and I thought, you know what? I am done healing, because if I'm going to focus on healing, I'm going to be stuck on healing. And then I realized something, and there's a lot of masters and teachers and gurus out there that say you got to peel the onion. You got to peel the
Oh
onion,
my
get to
God.
the core.
Mhm.
That I'm going to tell you right now, that's a fallacy. That is a fallacy. Otherwise, you'll remain stuck peeling the onion, peeling the onion, peeling the onion.
Oh,
So,
Terry's laughing. So I love
okay,
it. Go ahead. I love
so
this, Al. Go
so
ahead.
fast forward after my TBI, and I told you the command. By the power vested in me, I am that I am, completely healed.
I wrote that down. I'm gonna
You
start
see what
using
I'm
that.
saying? Because I am God.
Start using that.
There is no
But you
more
gave me
fighting to
something
be
else,
done.
Al. When I used to text you after the, you would say something and then something, and I lost it. So tell me what that was, real quick.
All right.
You would say something. I would say after our session, I would text you, and you would say, and you would send us some words you would send to me, and then you at the end it would say something else. But I forget now. I got it written somewhere. I got to find it. But you would
Okay.
always text me that. And then it was a word that you would use, a very powerful word that you would use. And then the rest would be boom, boom. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember what the word was. But
Oh my
anyways,
God.
my whole point to all this is, if you're going to keep healing, you're going to remain in
Right.
the healing scenario, because you're always going to find something else to heal. You're going to stay focused on healing. So my point is, get off of that ride, get off that train, and start and say, instead of buying into the fallacy of peeling the onion, just say, you know what? I am already completely healed. And
Exactly.
watch how your life turns around, Because what if you're God, if I'm God and I say I'm completely healed, the universe is going to respond to, is going to prove it to you that you're completely healed.
Exactly. Terry loved that too. We talk
There was a
about this
train
all
going
the
by.
time.
That's why I muted, because there was a train going by outside.
Oh, okay.
It was a literal train. Okay.
Yeah. But this is like, it's like deja vu right now. And I'm loving this. What you got to say about that, Master Paul? Because I know I see you smiling.
Yeah, I'm just spot on. I had nothing to add.
It was just like it's deja vu because me and Terry talk about this stuff all the time. But this is so true. And I've enjoyed all of you. We're going to weigh our way out and we're going to, would either one of you like to pray us out? Master Paul, you have a beautiful prayer you do sometime when you go out of your YouTube.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. You should go.
We offer our deepest love and gratitude to our Shifus, our heavens, teams, guides, angels, and saints, our spiritual mothers and fathers. We thank our Source Creator for giving us this opportunity to be present with each other and serve humanity in oneness. Amen.
Amen. All right, here we go. Here we go. We're about to go out. We're about to go out. Here we go.
More joy in my morning, more peace in my nights, more ease in the altitude. I choose to have more love that surrounds me. Listening, love that flows endlessly through me.
Choose to have more abundance, abundance in my body, abundance in my home, abundance in every corner of my life. I choose to have more freedom, freedom to move, freedom to dream, freedom to create the life I desire.
Have more joy in my morning.
We finally got it on track, guys.
I choose to have more.
We thank you guys for all coming. This has been a beautiful, beautiful get together. Only thing we missed was a little snack, but the snack was the energy. And I hope you enjoy the rest of these snacks I'm going to be bringing to you every week if I can. And I love you all. Open your eyes so that you can see. We love you. Thank you so very much for coming.
Beauty in what I see, beauty in what I feel, beauty in every simple moment. I choose to have more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Terry. Stop the recording.